So I'd like to give you a little introduction to the expectations for the Teacher Webpage ePortfolio project that you're going to be starting on. This is the sample one that I have a link for you in the Canvas module. And I just wanted to walk through it a little bit so that you can see some things here. And then I will also record another screencast to show you how to use some of the elements in Weebly if in fact you choose to use Weebly. You are not required to use this software program, but if you are new at doing different web programs, like I know some of you are, I'd recommend this one. Those of you who want to move on to something more advanced, want to do something different, that's fine. But Weebly is a fairly easy one to use, so I wanted to introduce you to that. And it gives nice results as well. This is a sample site, as I said, and if at the top you look, you will see the tabs here, and these are the expectations that I have for you in this project on the various pages that you need for the website. You need a home page, and on the home page, as you see right here, you're going to need to have a welcome. You want to have something that describes the purpose of your site. It doesn't have to be much, but something to explain why you have a web page. And then also, if you want to get full credit, you want to go ahead and list the additional pages that will be here. Ideally, you should link them, but if you can't get that advanced, that's fine. Notice that there are pictures here, there's a video on here, there's actually even a little poll on here, and if you read through it, you'll see they're all connected. But there's also a template picture up here, okay? So there will be a default picture on every page, whichever one you choose from the design. However, keep in mind that you will want to be adding some other elements as well. Talk about that in a second. So the home page. The introduction page is the next page that you'll be adding. And if it will click over, there we go. On the introduction page, there's actually a couple things that I'm expecting. One is that you either use your true self, which is fine, and then you create a class that you would like to teach in the future. But if you're uncomfortable with even putting your name out there, you're welcome to go ahead and create an imaginary name and biography background. But you will want to put a biography about yourself on this page, as well as a little bit of information about the class, quote unquote, that you're teaching. In addition, down in here, you'll see you want to add a teaching philosophy that you have developed, recognizing that you're still kind of new at trying to figure out what you want to do with teaching and how that works. But most of you have taken the Introduction to Education class, I presume, and have done some thinking about that. That will grow and change and develop, but that is something that you need to constantly be thinking about. And also you'll want to tell a little bit then about how that teaching philosophy connects to a learning theory or theorist that we've talked about in this class. You might have had another class in the book, and link that. So as you read through this one, you'll see that I created a teaching philosophy that fits nicely with the constructivist model. And then what you will need to do is make sure that that needs to be linked to an informational page about that particular theory. So you can see that this one would be linked by the fact that it changes color, and it does go out to a link. I'm not going to take the time to do that because you can do that yourself. Next page is this one I called My Learning. You might want to call it Accomplishments. It is where you are going to list the elements that that you have accomplished. This one's a little different than the one you'll have because you all did not do a Google site page on learning theories, but you all did do a blog. So the blog would kind of replace that one. There should be 6 things: your collaborative lesson plan, then your blog. You should link to your instructional wiki page, your PowerPoint, your web quest, And then the first assignment that we did, which was a website review, evaluation, critique, and how you built your first rubric. Now, some of these are links to actual places, and some of them are files. So in the next little video, I'll show you how to set that up. But you will definitely want to have all of your assignments and projects linked in there. And then you might also want to, and if you choose to, you will get an extra equivalent points for this, put in your digital story that we might actually, I take that back. You won't have the option to do that because we won't do the digital story until after you've done that, unless you want to go out on your own and put something in there, and that's fine. Lessons is the next page, and here what I'd like for you to do is to select at least 2 lessons that you have found out on the web that you really think are valuable, and they have some in educational technology integration, and I want you to link them on this page, and then also give a little description and the reason that they're valuable for your particular class. These must be, you select, like in this case, I selected to be a 3rd grade teacher, so all of my lesson plans need to be appropriate for 3rd grade. Always grade specific on this one. Okay, so if you create a class that's a particular grade or a particular subject, everything should relate around that. You need at least 2. I put in 3 here, but you only need 2. But sometimes it works to your advantage to have more than the minimum, in the sense that if one of them, the link doesn't work or something happens, in the meantime, you've got some backup. Okay, the next page is on student websites. Here's where you want to think about your students in this make-believe class, and you want to think about the kinds of web pages that you'd like to send those students to, because this website is for students to come and look at as well. Where would you like to send your students to that gives them something that's educational but also fun? So you need 3 of these links. And for the maximum points, and you'll want to put a little description or some kind of catch behind them so that you'll be able to guide the students a little bit more. We will also expect that parents might come out to this site, so you want to add a little note to your parents here. You can either write a little welcome letter telling a little bit more about your philosophy and how you're going to be treating their students. You also could include here any kind of appropriate information that your parents need to know about your classroom. So this is just a place to write something to your parents. Then this one's a little oddball, I know, but you're going to be using some kind of textbook in your classes, and I know you're not going to know the exact textbook that's going to be in a class, but I just want you to do a little bit of research and see what you can find out there. So what I did is I put 3rd grade. You're going to be taking science, math, and social studies, and I happened to find some books that had a digital link to them, or if you link it to a publisher, that's another way to do it so that you have some links there. But definitely link it, because otherwise it would not be appropriate. And then last but not least, you need a link to a page that you're going to call your resources. And this should be you can skip the live binders one, and you want to just link to your own Delicious account. Now, I talked about setting up a Delicious account at the very beginning of the semester, and I said that as you go along, when you find websites that you'd like to bookmark, that you bookmark them to the Delicious account. A number of purposes here. One is that you can follow this list of resources at whatever computer you happen to be at, whether it's at school or at home. And then you also have the opportunity to add to it and share it with others. But you also need to tag it. Your tags are the sort of traits or characteristics that you can use to try and search for them, kind of keep them organized. So for this one, and all of these, you can look at the teacher webpage ePortfolio grading rubric to see what the points are, but here is where you would want to have at least 5 websites that are tagged. Okay, and kind of thinking about that grading rubric as well, I mentioned that you're going to need to include some relevant images and videos on pages. You're also going to need to consider the design and mechanics of spelling, punctuation, grammar. That's kind of in a nutshell what I expect from this web page ePortfolio project. More in the next video.